Hey guys, Olympia here. Welcome to Shadow Fighter In Depth, and in today's video we'll be going over the Legionary Sarge, the commander of the Legion, and right now the strongest Legionary in the game. I think this character is extremely overpowered, and I absolutely love using this character. He is my favorite character to use right now, and I think a lot of people love this character as well, except when they're going against him. But in today's video we'll be going over every single talent Sarge has to offer, every single move, and overall, in general, just how to use him the best way possible. He's already overpowered, but in this video I'm going to show you guys how to make him even more overpowered. So without further ado, let's get into this video. So first things first with Sarge, we have his base attack. I think this is one of the best moves that you can do with Sarge, and I don't see enough people using this move, but it is the fastest move that he has other than the kicks, and it has the highest critical chance in the game. I don't think many people know this, but Sarge's base attack is actually one of the best moves for getting criticals, and it is an amazing thing when you have Revenge for the Fallen on, because obviously you can get those criticals and it's an easy knockdown. However, it is punishable on block, so I highly recommend that you cancel the move if your opponent is blocking, unless Will Destruction or Will Suppression is active. With either of those, the opponent will actually get pushed back a lot more, and it's actually unpunishable on block, so that is something to take advantage of when you have Will Suppression on. Alrighty, and up next we have Sarge's special move, and this is one of my favorite moves to use on Sarge as well. It is almost unpunishable on block. However, most people's base moves, or any move that's fast like Midnight's base attack, will actually be able to punish the special move on block, but it is actually ungrabbable on block, so you can't actually grab punish if they block your special, so that is something to keep an eye out for. Most of the time people think that after you do a special they can easily grab you. It's not the case. You can easily do a Legion back kick and they can actually never grab you no matter what the circumstances are. However, some base moves from super fast opponents can punish, but it's worth always going for the back kick if they block your special move, in most cases. But it's a pretty basic move. It's really good for after you throw. And as you can see with my friend Hammer here, it is a move that is easily punished by a character, for example like Helga. If you continue to do the entire special move, it can easily be punished. One other thing I'd like to point out about the special move, if you are going to do it after a grab, which it actually is worth going for if you know how to do it right, it is actually worth going for if you and your opponent are facing against each other, and it would actually, the recovery kick will actually not work if you guys are facing away from each other, like on opposite sides. However, if you grab your opponent and you guys are facing the same side as each other, like say you both are facing the screen as me and Hammer are right now, the recovery kick will actually beat the special move, and it's worth just going for the low attack or the heavy, preferably the heavy, because they'd have to get a lucky critical for them not to get the damage in. But if you guys are facing against each other, which I do very often, and when I go for the throw I will always go for the special attack, because 99% of the time the recovery kick will not beat it out. It doesn't matter which character they are using. So keep that in mind. If you want to not take any damage and you guys are facing the opposite sides of each other, it is definitely worth going for. And up next we have Sarge's back attack, which a lot of people love to use, especially with Commander's Press, but it is also viable to use it in other times, even when you don't have Commander's Press, because it can actually be a good counter attack, especially since it has Unbreakable. But for example with Kate, it is really good if she tries to do her back attack. You can easily counter it with Sarge's back attack. Although sometimes you will get caught, but it's better than doing any other move than that Sarge has. As you can see here, if you just time it just right and you can predict it, it's worth doing. And it does pretty good damage too, especially if Will Destruction is active. Alrighty, and up next we have Sarge's low attack, which it does have some uses, but it's not an attack I recommend you always do. However, it does have some very good uses, especially against characters that hit high. But It's really good for when the character's in the corner and you can just easily do that low attack, and it does pretty good damage, not as much as the heavy, but I still think it's better than doing the heavy since there is no chance of the opponent getting lucky critical on you. However, if you notice, sometimes when you do a forward grab and the opponent tries to do a recovery kick, sometimes both the hammers hit and other times it doesn't, which I find really strange, and me and Hammer were trying to figure out why that was. And we concluded that if you guys are facing the same side as each other, it's more than likely going to work with the low attack if they try to do a recovery kick. So again, kind of like with the special, if you do the grab and you can figure out which side you guys are facing, you'll know if it's worth going for the low attack or not. But we've decided that if you guys are facing the same side as each other, then it's more than likely going to work. But not every single time, but it gives you your best odds of it happening there. And a quick little tip with Sarge's low attack, it is actually really good against Azuma's spinning attack. We know a lot of people love to do the spinning attack with Azuma, and if you can predict that to happen, Sarge's low attack will 100% counter it, and it is one of my favorite things to do against Azuma spammers. As you can see here, he doesn't even hit me. And it also punishes that high poke that he does too. It just goes right under it, so that's one of Sarge's uses for his low attack, is any character that really hits high like that and a spammable move that you can predict, Sarge's low attack will go straight through it. Coming up next with Sarge's up attack, which a quick little tip here, Jet's heavy attack is actually 100% punishable on block if you do the up attack, which is really nice. So if you catch a Jet doing the up attack, or I'm sorry, the heavy attack, and you block it, you can always do the up attack with Sarge. It is 110% punishable. It works every single time. But getting into his up attack, it's quick, but it's not as quick as you guys might think. I don't know if you guys noticed, but a lot of times, a lot of characters' moves will actually beat it out, and sometimes you can get caught doing that. And another quick little tip here is if you actually do the up attack and you can predict the roll and do the jump kick, it is actually always, well, it's almost a guarantee that you can do the up attack again and you can catch them on the roll, which is a move I actually like to do. It's one of my favorite combos. And last but not least, with Sarge's moveset, we have his heavy attack, which is, I believe, to be the highest damaging attack in Sarge's moveset. It's almost as, the special attack is almost as high as the heavy, but the heavy is just a little bit better since most of the time it hits the head after a throw especially. But pretty simple move. It's usually really good after a throw, or maybe if you can predict a roll forward, you can do a heavy attack. But in most cases the heavy attack is only good for a hard knockdown, and you can follow up with one, or after a throw, especially if you have Shadow Thirst on and they do a recovery kick. Not only do you get that heavy attack damage, but if they hit you when you're unbreakable, you get half your shadow energy, so that can be a pretty nasty combo, unless they get a critical, because criticals beat everything with Legion Unbreakable, but it's unlikely that's going to happen. But like anyone, we all get unlucky sometimes. And kicking off Sarge's talents, our first move here is called Will Destruction, and pretty simple. The duration of Will Suppression is increased and the damage they take from Will Suppression is also increased. So if you just want to go with that big daddy beefy damage that Sarge can do, Will Destruction is your friend, and it appears to do 3 times damage with Will Destruction active from his normal attacks. I personally think Will Destruction is one of his strongest attributes. Alright, and the next talent we'll be looking at is Shadow Thirst. This one's pretty simple. Sarge just gets more shadow energy when he's unbreakable. However, even if he's unbreakable and you get hit by a critical attack, you will not get that bonus shadow energy, so that can kind of screw you sometimes. But Overall, it's a pretty decent perk, but I don't like it too much because you have to rely on getting hit to get that extra shadow energy, and I'd rather just not deal with that. I'd rather just go with the damage that Sarge can do with Wheel Destruction. But it's all personal preference. I just think Wheel Destruction is the better option between the two. Alright, up next we have Unstoppable, which he just gets health while he's in shadow form, and for those of you who don't know, it is exactly 6% health back every time you enter shadow form. So realistically, if you were to get shadow form 3 times in a row, or 3 times in a round, which is average, you get about 18% health back in total, which is pretty decent. It's not the best, but that's how much health you'll get back with Unstoppable. Alright guys, now we have Dismissed, and I find this one more used for jokes more than actual practical reasons, because it is a very cool looking kick and it is very satisfying. However, you can't really combo with it with anything, and it's only good if you have Revenge for the Fallen on, but I just find it more useful to use the kick for when I'm just having fun like I am with Hammer. I don't find the kick at all practical. It is punishable if you miss, and you can't really combo anything with it, and I find I'm just better off going with Unstoppable and getting that 18% health back on average. Alright, and Sarge's final health talent is Shadow Training. Basically all it does is increase shadow form duration, and if you're using Unstoppable, it increases your health by 8% instead of 6, so that's 24% if you get it on average of 3. So Shadow Training is pretty good, but I find Trusty Hammer more useful, but that longer shadow form duration is quite nice and it can catch people off guard. And Sarge's alternate ranged attack, Trusty Hammer. This one is very good at knocking people off their feet. However, it is extremely slow, but it can combo pretty well, and I find Trusty Hammer amazing to use. I think it is really, really useful, but you just gotta time it just right because it is slow, and if you're not careful, you will get caught and punished hard for it. And now we have Experience. And now guys, this is one that I really do love because I believe it is more versatile than Commander's Press. You can use it for interrupting attacks, you can use it for countering, or you can use it to block incoming damage. You can do it on reaction. And it is amazing when Sarge can immediately enter shadow form, and this is probably my favorite perk that Sarge has. I highly recommend that you use Experience other than Commander's Press. I know Commander's Press can be nice, but I think Experience is better. Alrighty guys, and up next we have Commander's Press, and this is the one that all the Sarge spammers love to use just over and over again, and I personally do not think it's that good of a talent. You rely on someone making a mistake or you interrupting their attack, and it's too punishable and way too slow for it to be of use for me. I just prefer to use Experience, but there's a few things you can do with Commander's Press. I like to use the Trusty Hammer after the stun because they actually can't block it and they can't evade it in any way, and you can do the heavy attack, or if you want to go for the extra damage, you can do the up attack and go for the jump kick combo. And getting into the level 10 talents, first up we have Fair Fight, and this one, it has potential to be good, but I just don't think Neki used it right. I don't think it's just so outclassed by Revenge for the Fallen. But basically what it does is at the start of a round, everyone loses shadow energy, everyone loses any positive or negative effects for both teams. So if Sarge has any positive effects on him, he's going to lose them. If he has any negative effects, he's going to lose them. If he has any shadow energy, he's going to lose it all at the start of a round. So just by hearing that, you can kind of see how that can kind of screw you over. If you win one round, have full shadow bar, the next round you're going to lose it all. You know, but it can be good, especially against characters like Ironclad. As you can see right here, I do not have Fair Fight on, and I am really struggling with him. I am doing very little damage, and he's just getting those stubbornness charges up, and I'll show you an example shortly of what it's like when you have Fair Fight and you go against an Ironclad when he's fully charged up. So as you can see right there, he had full shadow bar, he had full stubbornness charges, he had a damage increase, and Fair Fight took all that away from him. And as you can see, you can already see the difference in the damage that I'm doing now. I normally would have been doing nothing, but Sarge does a lot more damage against an Ironclad when he has 0 stubbornness charges. But my good friend Hammer here was getting the better of me this round. But one other thing about Fair Fight is it also will cancel other things like Jet's invisibility. It'll cancel out Fire Guard's shadow stack and just things like that. But unfortunately it won't start the things that are automatic. Like for example, Marcus's all-consuming chaos and the reality glitch at level 10. Unfortunately it will not cancel out the reality glitch. I wish it did that. It won't cancel out wound bandaging. It won't do any of that stuff. It's just any positive or negative effects, and it's very situational, and I personally just do not find it a useful perk. It's okay, it's kind of fun to use every now and then, but in a serious game you are much better out using Revenge for the Fallen. It is just so much better than Fair Fight. But hopefully Neki will rework Fair Fight and it can be a little more useful. I have a few ideas on how that could be, and in the end I'm not a developer, so I don't have any say in what they do, but I really do hope that they rework it, because I don't know if they noticed, but no one ever uses Fair Fight, so I'm sure they want Sarge to be used at its fullest, and they probably want Fair Fight to be a good competitor, so we'll see what they do in the future. Alrighty guys, last but certainly not least, we have the talent that gives every character in this game nightmares. When they see the red eyes of Sarge, they absolutely run scared, because this is the absolute father of all the talents in this game. Revenge for the Fallen, just 30% health or under, any fall it instantly kills you. It is just amazing, especially with Sarge when he has all the knockdown power that he has with the high critical chance and the throws and the up attack. It is just phenomenal that Sarge has this talent, and I think it is well put to be Sarge's talent. I still wish it was 35% like before, but 30% is okay. But I absolutely love this perk, and I hope it doesn't get nerfed any further. Alrighty guys, and that will conclude today's Shadow Fight Arena in-depth featuring Sarge. This video took me a very long time to make, so I hope you guys enjoyed it, and leave a like if you guys did and if you want more. I plan on either doing Ironclad next or probably Helga, but I will do Marcus eventually, but I will only if he gets buffed, because I am tired of fighting with Marcus, who is extremely nerfed, and I won't touch him in a competitive game until he gets buffed, and I will do an in-depth on him when he actually gets buffed and is at the place where he needs to be. But anyways guys, thank you again for watching, and I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I love you all, and thank you guys for the support, and I will catch you in the next in-depth.